Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. And yeah, this is kind of our first public meeting for what we're calling the Middlebury Skatepark project. And this is our second official meeting. Kimberly and I met at Two Brothers about a month ago, with this initial seed of an idea. And, now here we are. Look how many people are here and online. So if we keep this up, the next meeting we'll have the whole town, right? We keep this trajectory. So yeah. I have an agenda here that I'll try to stick to. I've got a few alarms for myself to stay on track. And even though this is kind of an informational meeting, I do want to kind of present the current vision that we have. But it's also, at the end, we're going to come back around, and it's very much a feedback opportunity. And the whole point of that is so that this vision can evolve, right, based on feedback. Because, right, we started small, and now we're a little larger. And actually, there's a bunch of people who could not make it, right? There's a online email presence as well. But if we can continue to refine this vision, and then that's the vision that we bring forward, that's kind of the goal here. So, our agenda today is do some introductions, because here we all are in one room and online, right? So let's meet each other, right? It's not often that we get to come from all different communities, from the college, from different towns in ACSD, and from Middlebury, and kind of see who else is interested in skateboarding and scootering, and bringing something to our community. So here we are. So let's make this brief, but I'd love to go around the room and just have you introduce yourselves. And online, we'll jump in and get you as well. I should have somebody letting people in. We'll get better at some of this. All right. So I'm going to start. My name's Ethan Murphy, and I live in Middlebury, East Middlebury to be specific. This is my daughter Ruby, and my wife Kelly is helping people find the community room if you've never been to the community room before. So that's us. I did grow up skateboarding in South Royalton, Vermont, which is a little rural town over in the Upper Valley. I learned to ollie on a piece of plywood in my yard, and carried it through high school and college. I have many lifelong friends from that community, and my interest here and my goal in kind of gathering this community is to kind of give back to the community. My daughter has recently started skateboarding, and I love to, we've been going to parks and just love to see her face and, relive what I kind of was living when I was first learning. So that's a little bit about me, and I want to introduce Kimberly Breckenridge, who was like I said there for the first meeting, and early advocate, and yeah, Kimberly.
I'm Kimberly. I have a 6th grader and an 8th grader. I don't know anything about the skate park, but I do know that there is a lack of alternative recreation in Middlebury, and I am tired of, I approve team sports, but there needs to be other avenues and more equitable choices for everybody. So that's why I'm here. Thank you.
And I want to introduce Melissa Kin. Her and her husband Mike Kin are also very early advocates and part of our coalition. By the way, terminology, again, we need to call ourselves something. So the Middlebury Skatepark project is the effort, right? And the Middlebury Skatepark Coalition is all of you, right? Advocates, here we are, working together to make this happen. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm Melissa Kin. I live in Middlebury. I have two sons, one in 3rd grade at Mary Hogan and one in 6th grade at Mom's. I'm a massage therapist. I've had a practice here in town for over 12 years. I do not skateboard, but I do like to rollerblade and roller skate. And as a family, we're just, very active in the outdoors. And I definitely agree with what Kimberly was saying. We do have a lot of really great team sports here, but I think there is a major lack in other kind of activities and sports, especially when it gets very competitive at the high school level, and some kids might just not be there where they're good enough to make varsity. And I've seen that happen. And just giving kids different alternatives to do things. So I'm really excited to help with this. Ethan has done, and Kimberly, a tremendous amount of work in just a few weeks. I know this has been brewing in his head for probably over a decade already here, so it's really cool to see it coming into fruition. And I'll mention that, he has a full-time job, 2 kids, and is coaching my son's baseball team too. So we are very thankful to have him working on this with us. And I'm here on behalf of my husband who can't be here today, so yeah.
This is my wife Kelly. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kelly.
I'm Oliver. I grew up skateboarding. It's a big love of mine. Helped build the Greenwich Skatepark in Connecticut. So I'm very familiar with the navigating of the bureaucracy of the town and looking forward to getting it done here.
Hey all, I'm Smith. I'm a junior from Kenya, and I don't know, I love skateboarding, and I'm looking forward to seeing the skatepark project being actually realized here.
I'm Abraham. I'm a sophomore in college. I'm a scooter rider. I've been scootering for probably over 8 years now. Something I've always loved doing. Obviously school's been always first, but I would love to see another place to skateboard here instead of in front of Park Dining Hall. So, yeah.
What's up guys, my name is Max, I'm from Atlanta, and I've been skating on and off for about 2 years, but now that I'm here, I'd love a place to get better and improve, yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Devin. I'm from DC, and I'm really excited to work on this and specifically also provide a safe space for BIPOC and queer skaters and folks growing up in that world to engage in skateboarding.
I'm Jonah. I'm a local Vermonter, also at the college. I remember when A-Dog was built for the first time and just how much that impacted the community, so I'm hoping that something else happens like that here.
Hey everyone, I'm Sam. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm a freshman at Middlebury. Love skateboarding and love how skateboarding can bring people together, so really looking forward to seeing something happen there.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan Summer. I'm from Georgia. Honestly, skateboarding has been a big thing for me because that's actually how I met my group of friends. So it'd be really cool to have something here as well to go to and have fun besides, as was mentioned, the Prague Dining Hall. So I'm really forward to looking how this project will progress.
My name is Jeff Bratzfis. I live in Middlebury with my family. I enjoy a lot of sports, but skateboarding is not something that I do. But I have done it when I was younger, and I thought it was a nice thing for a lot of people to do. It's great.
I'm Renee Braxton in Middlebury, and I don't skateboard, but also just here as a parent, we have 2 kids and live in town, and I think it's really nice thing here.
My name is Francisca Drexel, and my son is a skateboarder, a very serious skateboarder. And for me, I feel like I'm here because I'm a big supporter of the life of skateboarding. It's one of the most supportive communities I've seen. We often end up going to Burlington, and it's just the support system that I see is unlike anything I've seen in a number of years. So I'm really happy to be here and support. We need more life in Middlebury at night and places for people to go and connect, so that's my story.
I'm Lindsay Fuentes George. I'm the executive director of our local teen center, Addison Central Teens. I'm also on the town select board, so I'm the bureaucracy. And I am very in support of this project.
Natalie Ring, I'm from Middlebury. My son is a second grader and he's been skateboarding for about a year, so here on his behalf.
I'm Nick, I'm from Middlebury. I've been skateboarding since I was like 8 or 9, going to the Bristol Park in Burlington. I lived outside of DC for a while and I skated a lot down there. But so yeah, it'd be great to have a park that's kind of like parks down there in Middlebury.
I'm Lisa Miska. I used to work for the teen center many years ago. And at that time, there was always a lot of talk about the skateboard, people never getting together. I now run bike in Alley and I'm really in support of the skateboard. I think it's time for Middlebury to step up and do it.
I'm Jeremy, and I think it would be cool to have a skate park.
And we're from Middlebury, and sorry we're a couple minutes late, and we both think it would be super cool to have a skate park, and it is so great to see that so many people agree.
I'm Lucy, I'm a student here at the college, I'm a roller skater, also think it would be cool to have a skate park.
Rob Wheelan, I live here in town. Yeah, just want to get involved. I think it'd be a great thing for the community to have. I like to be an advocate for alternative action sports, skating, biking. Is anybody from Addison County Bike Club here? No, crickets. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, in terms of membership, they've reached out and,
okay, cool.
You know, I've been a past member, have to renew my membership, but, you know, they've definitely been in touch and
okay.
Yeah, we have, you know, the same interests, right, really?
Yeah, they're,
Eric Berg was supposed to be here tonight, but he
Yeah.
had to work and he's on that, so they're definitely on board.
Yeah, they have like a bunch of money for a pump track, right? Which would like.
Well, we have somebody in the audience who can speak more about the pump track, but
Cool.
definitely the pump
Okay.
track is a go, thanks to the Herculean efforts of someone who will be mentioned. And so there's just so many things that are coming together all at once,
Cool.
so I think, yeah,
Sounds
it's ready to
good.
go.
Sorry to like derail.
No, and, you know, I don't wanna skip you, Woodward, what's your name?
Lyle, and I'm from Middlebury Vermont, and I grew up BMXing and skateboarding in California.
Nice. And Eric, I don't want to blow up your spot either, but I do want to mention, you know, Eric was one of the first people that I reached out to when we were working on this, and, you know, again, we're working closely, but Eric is kind of spearheading the pump track effort, and yes, I'll let you introduce yourself.
All right, so my name is Eric Rumson. I have 2 daughters that are back here that are starting to skateboard this spring, so I have skateboarders in the family. But yes, I am part of a group that's working on a grant to construct a bike pump track here in town, and that's, I guess, a little farther along than the skate park at this point. But so that we're kind of, Ethan and I have kind of corresponded a number of times, so those are kind of, we're working together, we're not competing at all, and hopefully, you know, we'll see both those things in town soon.
Could I ask what a bike pump track is?
Sure. A bike pump track is, or I guess maybe the quickest, easiest way to explain it is kind of it's a often kind of mounds of dirt that bikes can go over, and if it's built in such a way, it's possible to kind of go around the track without really pedaling. There's enough kind of downhill that gets you up the next hill, and then so you can kind of, I guess, pump your way around the track. Yep.
Yeah, I'm Josh, and my son likes to skateboard. He's been going to Bristol for years.
Yeah, I'm his wife. Yeah, and that son is 30 now, and he's been skateboarding since he was about 5. And he still has the same group of friends, these great kids, and there was a skate park in the town that we raised our kids in Connecticut, and it was a real mecca for just like wonderful values and fun and just individuality, and I totally support it here.
Hi everyone, I'm Aiden Nelson. I am a sophomore here at the high school in Middlebury, and I've been skating since I was like 5 years old. I actually just came from launching myself down a 10 stair. A little bit dirty, sorry. Anyway, I grew up just skating in crusty parking lots and driving up to Burlington almost every day after school or Bristol, and it can be quite a bit time consuming at times, but I think it'd be really great if there was a park in Middlebury that just gave people around here a better option to be able to progress with those skills. That's my little brother.
This is Liam. I'm Carolyn Gillis. I live and work in Middlebury, and I started skating back in the 80s, and then I introduced this one to skating when he was 5, and he introduced this one to skating, and I would love to not have to drive him to Bristol or Burlington.
Hi, my name is Phyllis Stinson. I'm new to Middlebury. I live here in town, and I have 3 children, and my youngest is 12, and he's into skateboarding. So just want to learn more about the plan.
How's it going? I'm Nick. I don't live in Middlebury. My brother here does. Been here for quite some time. I was here for like 6 months or so. Been skating for like 20 years. Just started a board company like a year or so ago. I have one with me to like donate to just for somebody. I don't have too much experience with like building parks. I have friends that have built parks, and I build little DIY spots and stuff like that. But just here to help out as much as I can, and donate boards and just get involved.
Where is your business located?
I'm in Lake George.
Do you want to open up another one? There's a grant for that.
That'd be nice, yeah, possibly. But yeah, that's about it, yeah.
And I'm Larry Montague, live here in Middlebury, have a young daughter. He and I started skating at the same time. He's the one who got good. I stopped, but I always loved the skating scene. There's so much camaraderie, and it's just a fun, active thing to do. And kids around here need more things to do. Absolutely. So I'm so in support of one of the best things I've seen on front porch forum in a long time.
I'm Mario, and this is my birthday today, and I just got roller skates, and I really like to do it.
Happy birthday.
I'm Kaiza, and I really like skateboarding, and I got my skateboard last year on my birthday, and I'd really like to have a skate park to practice skateboarding.
I'm Vance Bishop. I've got a 9-year-old son, and so I'm interested on that level. Ethan and my son are in the same grade, so I'm here just to support this as a member of the community.
Hi, I'm Amy Carlin. I work at Middlebury College in Community Relations, Davidson. I also am the Vice President of the Better Middlebury Partnership, so Kickstart, if you need to start a business here. However, just here to support and learn as much as we can about this.
I'm Clint Bierman, and I am, my son Sam skates, and I would love it. Looking forward to it.
And Clint, even though he doesn't know it, he agreed to be an early core advocate, so he's in. He's in there now.
He's got to write us the jingle.
Yeah, I'll
All right, I mean, that's amazing, right? Look at this response. Look at this very background, amazing. And I'm happy to meet you all and promptly forget your names, but I will learn that. Yeah. All right, here we go. So let's jump into a quick presentation. I'm gonna move quickly because I think this is the most important part, right? But we're here to learn about this initial vision, just as a reminder, and then gather feedback, refine that vision, and then move forward through the proper channels, right? So, hopefully, I know I'm neglecting you all out in online Zoom world, I'm sorry. Hopefully you can hear and see. So, who is the skate park for, right? This is, I'm pulling a lot of information here from the skate park project, which is formerly the Tony Hawk Foundation. So they are a mission-driven organization. They've given over 600 grants to various skate parks, and then countless support beyond that. So just a lot of this information is coming from there, and I'm giving you maybe the best of it. So a skate park is a safe place for individuals and groups to challenge themselves, to encourage and be encouraged, to set and achieve their own goals while learning to manage risk along the way. It's a place where people build healthy habits like self-directed exercise and creative expression. It's a place where people learn how to persevere and the value of persistence. A place to experience accomplishment and build confidence. A skate park is an attractive, accessible, and safe recreational facility for all. A community gathering space for skaters, families, and the entire community. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, this is skater-centric, but you know, this is for all users of the skate park. So anytime I say skater, it means everyone. All right? So, you know, for us, right, it's for our community. So when I think about our community, right, that's Middlebury, that's our ACSD towns, and Middlebury College is a big part of this community. Again, it's for all ages, all abilities, skateboard riders, scooter riders, BMX riders, wheelchair motocross riders, roller skaters, inline skaters, and I was hoping Stefan would be here, parkour and fitness enthusiasts. I worked with Stefan in 2014, the last time that we tried to get this going, and Yuta, how are you? So, yeah, this is the year. Why do we need a skate park? Right? This is a big one. We need a safe and legal place to skateboard in our community. Right? That's the basis. And then, you know, there are people, I'm sure, in this audience who can speak to this, you know, way better than I can. And if you'd like to chime in here, please do. But a skate park provides mental health benefits for our community, provides physical health benefits for our community, provides social engagement opportunities, right? This is just basically recapping kind of what you've all said, what we've heard in the last few weeks on Front Porch Forum in responses to a single post. And I don't know if people had a chance to read the Addison Independent, but you know, we're very pleasantly surprised to read a very nice editorial today in the paper, or yesterday in the paper. A skate park provides economic opportunities. That business is ready to open up, right? And maybe most important, right? And the fact that you're all here, right? There's interest and demand. And that's really what we're doing here. We're gathering support. We need to make it undeniably clear that this is something that the community wants and needs, and we're willing to put in work to move towards that, right? So I'm not going to read all these. I just have a few. I'm going to cruise through them pretty quickly, but just a few little quotes highlighting, you know, some of these categories here about the many benefits of skateboarding. And again, there's overlap with a lot of outdoor recreation here. Yeah.
before we all forget, we're gonna hand out, it's on the back of my seed purchase, so just on the blank side of it, if you could just sign your name so we know who's here, it helps for when we write grants. Sorry, so as we watch, things coming around.
Just me.
And if anybody's into
Just your first and your last name, just to show that we,
digital versions of that, you can scan this on the way out and do a form. Sorry, I forgot about that.
emails too, if you wanna be part of, if you're not already, didn't tell us you wanna be part of it. That'd be great, thank you, sorry.
No, thank you. Right, physical health benefits, social engagement opportunities. And then, again, I feel like I don't need to highlight some of these national examples of demand because, you know, locally, it's been pretty incredible to learn about the demand. But, you know, this is a fact that kind of stood out to me, right? Skateboarding is the third most commonly reported interest for high school students. So for those of you high school students here, you know, among your peers, is this something, even if somebody hasn't done it, is this, do you feel like it's gaining momentum?
Yeah, this is definitely an interest amongst my peers, but I feel like the long drives is discouraging, and just riding around in a flat parking lot can get boring. It's kind of monotonous.
Yeah. So I just had to put up this slide, you know, this, whoops, and my headline's a little cut off, but, you know, how TikTok and skater girls are driving skateboard sales off the wall from, you know, all things considered. Right, there's an ebb and flow of interest in skateboarding. When I grew up, you know, it was big, and then it died down, and it's getting big again, right? Skateboarding's in the Olympics. There are, you know, young, influential athletes, and yeah, we're at that point again, and yeah, let's meet that demand. There are 8.8 million skateboarders in the U.S. Let me just edit this person. Up 34% from 2019. What's happened in between then, 2019? We're living through a pandemic, right? Outdoor activities are big. Skateboarding's big. You know, a way to feel good, to feel healthy, to relieve stress and anxiety. So again, local demand. I just wanted to give a shout out to Middlebury Parks and Recreation. I want to highlight, you know, they did beginner intro clinics at the East Middlebury tennis courts, and enrollment for those clinics was 90% full. Here's a picture of my daughter Ruby, me, a bunch of other people having a great time learning. These were all brought in from Bill. Bill, I know you're on here, Strecker, I might have pronounced your last name wrong, from Manchester. So he owns Arson Skate Shop in Manchester, Rutland, and he's running these clinics. And I'll mention it later, they start up again tomorrow. So hope to see you all there. We'll be there. Again, demand. Skate parks are the 4th most used recreation space in terms of total weekly use hours. They were found to be more popular than sports fields, play areas, fitness zones, and dog parks when comparing the total weekly use hours. So skateboarders use skate parks a lot, right? And you know, in Vermont, you think we have winter, right? But you know, it's still a long season. These skate park clinics last fall were running in November, and you know, basically, to a skateboarder, as soon as you know, you can melt the snow, shovel the snow, squeegee the snow out of the way, you can use the skate park, you know? So, yeah. All right, so let's get to some of the numbers, right? So, how much space do we need in Middlebury? right? So the and we're kind of gonna address this from a statistics or a data-driven way. So the recommended level of service is 10,000 square feet for every 25,000 residents. Again, this is coming from the skate park project. They work with so many different skate parks getting built in communities. There are about 3,000 to 4,000 skate parks nationally, somewhere in there. So 10,000 square feet, just for perspective, is roughly the size of a baseball infield, right? 2 tennis courts are roughly 5,600 square feet. So again, we have plenty of those for frame of reference if you want to judge the size. And if we're looking at Middlebury's population, again, check my math, but I think 2020 is about 9,152. And then if we, divide that by 2.5 or use this equation, we come up with a number of 3,660 square feet. If we are looking at ACSD town's population, right, that's a little bit bigger at 15,618. And again, if we use this math, we're looking at 6,247 square feet. Again, for a frame of reference, in 2014, when we did have a site that was picked out at the rec department, we had 5,000 square feet allotted at that time. And that location was where the cherry trees are now planted when you first come into Mary Hogan. But just a frame of reference in terms of how much space we might need as we move forward.
Ethan, do we know how big the Bristol Park is?
We don't, and I will find out. Yeah, I think it's a little larger than that.
Yep.
But I'll definitely find out, and that's yeah.
And Ethan, I'm guessing that Middlebury College was not part of the counting of square feet population. This was
Yes,
just
Middlebury
population?
is part of Middlebury's population. Yes, and in fact, I read a stat in the downtown plan that 38% of downtown residents are Middlebury College students. So very representative. Yeah. And then Addison County population is 37,363, or 15,000 square feet. So, as you might guess or gather, I'm kind of taking the Goldilocks approach here. So, one might be a little too big, one might be a little too small, and one might be just right. Yeah.
Do you, is there any consideration for the size when you include BMX bikes and then, skateboarding is one thing, but bigger, like the Bristol one, I've gone up there and there's a variety of things going on, skate, bikes, scooters.
Yeah.
I'm curious if a little bigger's thought into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody would say bigger is better, but I think what we're trying to do is, kind of match it with, the town size and that kind of thing. But in terms of, there's different elements, right? A BMXer might be more interested in a launch ramp than, say, a small spine or something like that, right? So there's definitely different elements, but at the same time, everybody's psyched for a skate park, and everybody's going to be using it, and a BMX rider is going to find creative ways to use what's there, and a skateboarder is, and a scooter is, and yeah, that's the idea. So again, frame of reference, right? Burlington's A-Dog Skate Park is 21,200 square feet for a population of 44,000 people. So again, if you do that math, it kind of makes sense, right? That level of service we talked about. And this is considered a world-class skateboard park, right? Yes, I'd love to have this in Middlebury. It's probably not the right size for Middlebury. Manchester Skate Park in southern Vermont. And again, shout out to Bill, who was part of making that happen. 6,000 square feet for phase 1, 20,000 square feet for phase 2. Manchester has a population of 4,484. So, phase one is roughly kind of that section. Has anybody been to Manchester Skate Park? It's awesome.
It looks awesome. I was just there last week, actually. It's really good park. It's definitely small, but as it kind of gets built on.
Yeah, so
it's a better park.
it's not this or this part, it's that part there.
Right.
And, Ruby, what do you think of Manchester Skate Park?
Which one?
Remember the one we went to right after it was snowing?
Yeah, that was really fun. It was freezing, but it was fun.
All right, moving along here. And then I grew up in South Royalton, Vermont, right next door to Bethel, Vermont Skate Park, which is 4,000 square feet for a population of 1,942 people. It's pretty small, but they have successfully built this, and they're moving on to phase two. And they're hosting parks and rec clinics. 15 kids all gather on this little spot of concrete and have a great time. And every time I'm going to visit my parents, I stop in and use it. And yeah, it just shows you that there's different scales and different types. Yeah. And do feel free to jump in. I'm sorry, this is a keynote or PowerPoint presentation. It can be boring, but jump in anytime.
Ethan, I just had one thing that brought up, which I never thought of. What about in the winter with the snow? Is it something that if it melts, people use it, or is it cleared? Is it just closed? If we had one here, say.
Yeah.
When we have one here.
I mean, I've seen photos of the sidewalk town machines shooting the snow off.
So,
but then kids will do it like.
So if anyone's willing to clear it,
yeah.
However it gets done, it can be used.
Yeah, and there's great push brooms. Actually, they use them at the clinic. Push brooms. The other side is squeegee.
Okay.
So a shovel,
Great.
some sun.
Okay.
And people will use it if they can, right?
Hey, Eve, some people are trying to ask questions on Zoom. Somebody just texted me.
Okay.
Do questions?
They,
You have to check
they were
the
just
chat.
saying they were talking, but you can't hear them.
Yeah. If anybody can jump on Zoom and maybe moderate that, I don't know if I can do double duty. But.
I can.
Do you want me to give you
Yeah, no, I'm sure you can. I was trying to figure out how to talk
I'll check in with chat at the end. I'm sorry, I don't have the brain to do both at the same time. So how many people in Middlebury skateboard? That's a good question, right? So raise your hand if you skateboard. All right, 1, 2. So that's not how we're gonna figure this out, right? I'm glad you're all here. I'm glad we all skateboard. But we're gonna look at national data, right? So nationally, about 2% of the total population skates casually, 1 to 25 times a year. And about a little less than 1% are core skaters. I can let you in. Sorry.
Oh, he's letting you in.
I don't know why I can't see my mouse. All right. So about 1% of the population are core skaters who skate over 26 times a year.
Recording in progress.
I'm forgetting your name. Who just did the tense there? Aiden, how many days a year do you skateboard?
Probably like 300.
All right. So there's very core skaters, right? So again, these numbers do not account for all skate park users, that we talked about. And more locally, right? I looked at the SCORP, if you remove Vermont, but the Vermont Statewide Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan for 2019. And that plan reports that 4.4% of respondents participated in inline roller skating or skateboarding in the last year, and 3.4% had someone under 18 in the household who participated during the past year. So again, more local data, that even bumps those numbers up a little higher. So again, looking at Middlebury's population, running these numbers, it's a safe bet to assume we have 189 casual skaters and 73 core skaters. Again, if we look at that a little more broadly with ACSD towns, those are some, firm numbers that we can use as a base point. Now, when you're in a town like Middlebury that has, no options for skateboarding, it makes sense that those numbers might be lower, right? And they will grow when there is a safe place to do this. So I showed a couple examples of contemporary skate parks when we were talking about size. What is a contemporary skate park? So here's the criteria kind of, when we talk about this. So it's public, it's permanent, it's accessible, it's visible, it's inclusive, it's attractive, it's self-governing, and it's a safe space. Any questions about those or any input? Right? The difference between a permanent and what's sometimes called a temporary park is a temporary park, about 10 years ago, even 20 years ago, it was really popular to do prefab parks built out of wood and metal. And they're great, right? At a certain point, we all love Bristol. At a certain point, the maintenance becomes very difficult, right? It's a paper product, right? This thin, masonite or whatever. And anyways, so even the companies that were most well known for that have kind of switched over to concrete in modern days. So that's the vision. Maybe it's not the end vision, but that's the vision, right? And some of these things again are contemporary because it differs from the previous way of doing things, right? So the fact that it's accessible, who's it accessible to? It's accessible to people in the town. It's accessible to people on public transportation, right? You don't necessarily have to drive to the outskirts of town to access a skate park. And it's attractive, right? Like there are new ways to do things with concrete. You can color the concrete. There's bioswales that you can incorporate, shades, all different kinds of things. So again, I'm not dunking on Bristol. I was there the other day. Just highlighting what a prefab park, right, built out of metal and wood in its later years starts to look like. Instead of dunking on Bristol, I'll give a shout out. Last week in Addy Indy, I saw that they were looking for some volunteers to go help out and get it going again and up to snuff. So I would say, put your energy there if you have volunteer hours, because this is our skate park, right? Right now, we don't have a skate park. This is the closest skate park, and I was there the other day, and there was 12 kids there, on all different types of things, and it's well loved and well used. Here's a big one too, right? Where will the skate park be located? And again, it's not a big reveal because I don't know. It is, the criteria we're going to use to find a perfect spot, right? We need a spot that's accessible, right? We talked about that, visible. When we start working with the town on this, they're going to want something that's, what they call shovel ready, right? It's, owned land, zoning's in place, it makes sense with the town plan. Does it meet the necessary size and shape needs that we've kind of established? The topography, right? You don't necessarily need something that's totally flat, right? But topography has to complement, the various, ramps and inclines and that you're designing. And then, amenities are important, right? With any recreational space, you know, are there restrooms, is there drinking water? If it is, you know, not accessible via existing parking, is there parking? And environmental impact, right? That's important. That was one of the issues with the location at Mary Hogan, was a concern about drainage.
Ethan,
Yeah.
when you're looking for a location for this, you're also looking for one that could potentially grow on, one that is going, over the years, could potentially become bigger if it needed to be?
Not necessarily, like, I think it's more economical to do what you want to do. I don't think anybody does phases on purpose, you know. I think it's better to decide what you need and to do it that way. And you know, for the designers and builders to come out and actually do it, it's better to, you know, not have them come back, right? But often you need to prove yourself. So, right, Manchester did phase one. You know, it's overwhelmingly used and loved, and they're quickly moving on to phase two. Bethel, same thing, you know. So to answer your question, the only need for add-on, you know, and, you know, thinking about Eric in the pump track, right? Like, I could envision side-by-side, you know, amazing outdoor recreational facilities that complement each other and have all the same access to water and bathrooms and you know, all this stuff. But in terms of location, I'm not necessarily looking for anything to expand on,
Sure.
if it's the right size, right? Yeah.
Sure. I'm sorry, I got kicked out of Zoom.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And there's a gentleman on there named Pete who has a question. I just,
Okay.
I don't think anybody's better at Zoom.
Yeah. I apologize. We'll get better tech. We'll get better tech moving forward. A lot has happened this week. I was not expecting this many people. I was not expecting. So.
Do you guys have it on the screen?
Yeah, we got it.
Can you see the chat?
Yep, we're at.
So I'm gonna, because I can't see the chat.
Yes.
I'll just keep taking minutes.
Yeah, that sounds good, thanks.
All right. All right, I'm gonna jump out of here real quick. All right. There we go. Okay. Sorry about this. All right, so, accessible, visible, shovel-ready, yeah, we went through that. And how much does it cost? So again, using the examples we've already gone over, I believe this was 1 million, it might have been 1.2 million. This was also part of a bigger waterfront plan, right, at the Moran plant. So the bike path is right there, but I think the cost of the skate park itself was right around $1 million. So again, size-wise, you know, there we are. And Manchester for the first phase, $250,000. These numbers are large, and I know that. Bethel Skate Park, $67,750. So again, kind of giving you the range there.
And Ethan, so do you know, just real quick, you know, on those few, like, where most of the funding came from, like, if it was, you know?
Yeah, we'll go.
You will go
we'll
to
get
that,
into
thank you,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So how much does a contemporary skate park cost? As you just saw, it depends, right? You know, I'm not gonna lie, these are current numbers, $50 to $70 per square foot, and that is for professional poured-in-place concrete skate park design and construction by experienced concrete skate park specialty firms, right? So that's people who do this for a living and, you know, are in extremely high demand right now and will deliver a park whose return on investment will be amazing, yeah. So again, it fluctuates, right? And I think when I did this in 2014, we were looking at $35 per square foot. back there, so. And, you know, just for reference, right, I took a quick look at some sidewalk bids for the town. And, you know, a flat sidewalk is expensive now too, right? And again, don't quote me on this, but my quick math, you know, showed that it was, you know, between $19 per square foot and as much as $30 per square foot. So why is it more for a skate park than a sidewalk? I just have a few slides here just to show you kind of what goes into a skate park, a concrete skate park build, right? There's a lot of specialty work that goes into it. So, you know, these are, you know, various builds. Trying to not make it too elaborate because we're not gonna get there, but, you know, you can see they're pretty, you know, it's pretty specific work. So, to get to Melissa's point, how are we gonna pay for it? So again, this is kind of pulling from data from past skate parks and how they paid for it, right? So grassroots fundraising, right? This shows that we have skin in the game, right? That here we are showing up to this, we're willing to put in work, right? And raise some funds. So 77% of skate parks do grassroots fundraising, right? Or have done, and on average, they're able to raise about $27,000. Service organization support, 50% seek out support from service organizations in the town with an average of $38,000 towards the project. See Your Town, 46% get funding from the town with an average of $99,000 support from the town. There's various communities in Vermont that are doing the same thing we're doing right now. I can highlight Waterbury, who received $50,000 from the town in an article vote at town meeting day. Manchester's project received $50,000 in seed funding from the town to get things kicked off and going. And more as communities and municipalities and towns recognize the benefits of skate parks to the community, these are just becoming capital improvement projects. And so, you know, we obviously cannot do this alone, and we just need to work with Parks and Rec, then the Infrastructure Committee, then ultimately the Select Board to decide what the best path forward is for us, right? And again, maybe it's not a contemporary concrete skate park. You know, if our vision changes and it is a prefab park or a slab for now, you know, I'm gonna be using it and ecstatic, right? Yeah. Support from local businesses, 25% with an average of $17,000. We've already received support in you know, vocal support. Megan and Holmes from Two Brothers Tavern were nice enough to kind of step out front and you know, write something on Front Porch Forum in support, and have ideas for fundraising. So I think, again, once we get momentum working with businesses in town, you know, working with really dedicated, smart people, I think, you know, something like this could really take off. And grants, right? So there's a lower percentage of parks that get grant funding, but with a high reward, right? With an average of $142,000. Ludlow, Vermont just received $190,000 from the VOREC grant, which is Vermont Outdoor Recreation and Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, it's just economic.
That's it.
That's where that business ties into, but we are planning on applying for it next year. Only one town in Addison County has ever been awarded it, so I think we're in a really good position. And the highest amount of grant that's been awarded was $500,000 down in Manchester area. So again, if we can work on getting a lot of our statistics and organization and show that we need it here, I think we have a really good shot of, and I'd be one of the ones that are writing the grant, so it could be upwards of $500,000.
Yes, and Kimberly, you know, hopefully we find many people with many better skills, you know, at presenting, public speaking, but Kimberly's probably the one that got you here. So she wrote the Front Porch Forum posts. She's also written our first grant, so, you know, we have various and different skills. Yes. So yes, we'll be seeking that, and you know, the state of Vermont, right, has recognized the value of outdoor recreation in this state, and they're funding it in big ways. Buzz through this quickly. I'm a little slow. I'm sorry. Fundraising ideas. I have to admit, I ran out of time a little bit here. I have ideas. I know you all do too. You've reached out with some ideas. And again, I think you're gonna, you know, many of you are gonna come forward as part of this coalition and are gonna kind of drive us forward with fundraising ideas. You know, one that's always popular is an art auction, you know, and that can be a skate deck auction, right, where we send out skate decks, blank decks to various artists throughout the community. We hang them up around town for a period of time. You know, we do either a silent auction or we have a big event at Note or elsewhere, and we do you know, an auction and raise some funds for this. I participated in a donor recognition fundraiser for the ADOG Park. You guys look there, you'll see a little brick with my name on it. That was the start of their fundraising, right? And, you know, $50 back then was a lot of money. But right, there's, you know, I could see something cool with Danforth Pewter, right? Etching our names of our donors in somewhere in the park, you know, something like that. And again, you know, if anybody has any awesome ideas right now, shout them out, but also, you know, we'll meet specifically with a subgroup about fundraising for this, because I think it can be really fun too. It can be community building, it can be, you know, purposeful, and yeah. I want to highlight a couple upcoming events. So the first one I'll mention again, right, the Middlebury Parks and Rec skate clinics on Saturdays in East Middlebury tennis courts. First one is tomorrow. They are $40 per session, but if that is a barrier for any reason, get in touch with me and we will figure something out. Yeah, it's really geared for beginners, but you know, some of you advanced skaters, you know, might want to be there and just like, you know, help out or you know, get to know the community, something like that. Yeah.
And Arson will be there.
Yes, these are run by Arson Skate Shop and in partnership with Parks and Rec, and yeah. It would be nice if, you know, these small elements that we're all learning on don't leave every Saturday, right? And there was a place to practice in between those clinics, yeah. You know, this one seems a little strange, the Vermont Walk Bike Summit, but, you know, we have the same ideas and values and this idea of a pedestrian town, right? And so there might be a good opportunity for some of you to network and, you know, spread the idea of the project, the skate park project. My family participates in the Human Powered Parade in Bristol. It's pretty geared towards bikes, but it might be kind of cool as a group here to get together and have a cohort, you know, follow that, you know, human hour parade. I would be totally into that if others are on board. And a big one for me is something called Go Skate Day. So Burlington does this. I'd love to do it in Middlebury. One kind of popular thing for Go Skate Day is to kind of have a you know, take over the street. You know, we would want to do it the right way. I did reach out to Chief Hanley and invited him to this meeting. He wasn't, you know, very busy obviously, but we would want to work with the town and you know, almost treat it like a parade, raise visibility, you know, do a route in town, and you know, make the cover of the Addy Indy, right? With you know, advocacy. Yeah. Just gonna buzz over what we've accomplished so far. So as I mentioned, Kimberly is our writer, our grant writer, among many other things. You know, so we submitted our first grant application to the Rotary Club of Middlebury. So if there are any members of the Rotary Club of Middlebury, please give us a good shout out. And yeah, you know, again, kind of kicking off with fundraising. Once we get kind of our first pool of money, I think it'll be, you know, it'll come in droves. Yeah. I've been appointed as an alternate on the Middlebury Parks and Recreation Committee. And, you know, so I have a toe in the door there. We'll, you know, obviously be working with Dustin Hunt, who is the superintendent, and Scott Warren, who is the programs coordinator. You know, in these bi-monthly meetings, but also independently of that. Dustin wasn't able to make it tonight, but he wanted to send his full support for this, and you know, yeah, that's kind of the first step in the, you know, as Lindsay says, the bureaucracy, but I say the partnership. Yeah. And we've had initial discussions with a fiscal sponsor, and you know, that's right. That allows us to, you know, gives us legitimacy when asking for funds, and allows us to put, you know, have a MOH, and allows us to, you know, put these funds somewhere, keep them there, only use them for the skate park, that kind of thing.
Hey, Eve.
Yeah.
So Bill just wanted from Arson.
Yeah.
He just wanted to say, with the newly formed New England Skateboarding Association, we will have contests throughout New England. It will literally be the Little League of Skateboarding. Contest series should be in motion within the next year. Points would count towards national championships as well, but more for people to experience regardless of skill level, just like Little League.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. And right, I'm sure that circuit, right, like Burlington, you know, Middlebury, Rutland just lost their skate park, the indoor skate park that I grew up skating at. But you know, then you got Manchester, Brattleboro has a brand new awesome park. Yeah.
Do you know what happened to the ramps from the Rutland Park?
That's a great
That's
question.
Like a good,
That's,
hey,
that's a great
save some
question.
money and-
We should check in on that, yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, we've reached out to Skate Park Project. So Skate Park Project isn't a huge grant, it's a really good grant. I mean, I think you can get up to $25,000. I think Burlington may have got that maximum. But they often give out $5,000 and $10,000. And more importantly, it gives you national recognition, right? This is, you know, Tony Hawk is the household name, or at least was for my generation, for skateboarding. And, you know, that, again, will bring in more funding, more interest, more legitimacy. We've done lots of outreach, lots of research, and, all right, so I've been, you know, this is droning on. This is kind of a fun part. So Melissa's husband, Mike Kinn, has been brainstorming and designing logos. His company is Bright Time Studios, and you may know him. He just finished up a mural at Mary Hogan. He's been working, with Mary Hogan for a long time on various projects for that community. And so here are some logos that he's just playing around with, which are awesome. So,
I can kind of.
and this is even before we kind of had a name. So,
Well, I'll just do it quick on behalf of him. He's in quarantine now because he's having knee surgery next week. Fun fact, he tore his ACL the first time skateboarding, so we want to get him back there. He wishes he could be here, but anyway, he just had some fun this week. He's a former art director and does a lot of art design and illustration. So I think having a logo for people to associate with a project in the early stages can really add that legitimacy as well to it. Just when you think of it and you see that. And I think it gives a lot of opportunity for fundraising too, for t-shirts, stickers, sweatshirts, and then eventually big picture, just doing some public art, I think, or murals, once we actually get it built. Could be really incredible. So anyway, yeah, so the copy in here changes just depending on what it is, but this is that skate deck there with the wheels. That's the wheel there. That's the half pipe there with an M. So just kind of playing around with different ones. You want to keep going?
Yep.
That's just it in a different color. And some of these I think are just adorable. And we were talking that they could be really fun for doing camps for kids eventually, that each week, depending on whether it's the skill level or the ages, they get a different shirt like that. So I think they're just super cute. And there's, of course, the Vermont state animal, I guess, cow, with this skateboard hidden in there. And then I think we've got 3 more too, so. Yeah, so this is just the wheels, but he did kind of hide a little bit of Vermont in there. And these are just 2 other kind of fun characters, he came up with, but I think those could be really fun to do something with kid camps.
Oh,
And of course, being the bird brain that he is there, he just had to add that in there. So if anyone has, any ideas or input or wants to add, and I know he would probably love to talk to you because we were thinking right away as fundraising as doing the decks and designing them and things like that. And he has done that for, he's done like a snowboard for that kind of, donate for some fundraising, and he's done some skateboard decks for a company he used to work for. So he's really excited to collaborate with anyone. So if anyone wanted his information, just, come see me for a second, or it's pretty easy to find. Michael Pekin, he has his website, and I think that's his Instagram too, so, yeah. Does anyone have any comments on them or input?
That third one with the bird ramp, I like that one a lot with the M.
This one there, okay. Yeah, anything I can take back to him would be helpful, just any input. Yeah.
The otter is really cute.
It's adorable. I can't get enough. I mean, I know we have a lot of businesses in town that are kind of otter heavy, but we do have Otter Creek and we do have otters that roam through town in the middle of the night sometimes. So I think that's just adorable too.
Those also got motion.
Yeah. Okay, so we like that one too. How about any other ones?
Mountain.
I did not pick up on the Vermont hidden in the
he
trucks.
he hides a lot of Easter eggs in all his artwork, and I don't even find them most of the time. So yeah. So there's those guys, and was there one more on the top?
I love bird.
Yeah, this is
Very,
kind of the
yeah.
This is kind of the obvious for me, like I thought, because it kind of fits like with the Vermonty thing. But I can't get enough of that otter. I think it's so cute every time I look at it. So. Yeah, so, yes.
I think if you put the cow on the skateboard, that would be perfect.
Oh, okay, good, yeah, this is like great feedback, because this was just for him, just like a really quick mock-up, but incorporating the cow, okay, into a deck, okay, cool, awesome. Well, I just wanna, I'm sure you have a little bit more to say, but Ethan has done such exhaustive research. I mean, this is really amazing, and the editorial that was written, I don't know if anyone's read it in the Independent today, was just so positive and thoughtfully written. I mean, I just was like so impressed by what you've done and the response so far. So if you haven't seen that, try to spread that article around, to send it to anyone or post it, because it's really, really great. So, yeah.
And this is kind of the fun part, right? We've been through a lot of boring numbers, but we need to ground the vision, right? So we're all talking about the same thing, or we change what we're talking about, so we're all talking about the same thing. So important next steps, right? We need to collaborate with Middlebury Parks and Recreation to identify, the path forward, because we need a path forward. We want to incorporate feedback from advocates and refine our unified vision. So we're going to get there to your feedback right now. I want to schedule monthly meetings. I think we should work hard toward this, right? And deliver what we want on a silver platter. And so it's very easy to say yes to, because it's very easy to say no. Get going on social media. I made a Facebook page. I've given up on social media. Younger people need to take that on and take it forward. It would be great, because there's so many different businesses and the Middlebury Partnership that are using social media that we can kind of piggyback on.
Ethan, do you think just if anyone wanted to do it, like, I'm not on any of it, but like Instagram would maybe make a little more sense to have something in the beginning, because it's.
I say let you all decide, because I am officially a dinosaur.
Yeah. But it might just help to have someone, if anyone wants to volunteer to do that.
Yes, yeah, I think that would be key. We set up a site that many people can access, but if we can have, content drivers, dedicated, that would be awesome, because, right, we're creating an archive and a history when we don't want it to be dormant. We want to highlight, these front porch forum responses that are cultivating community, and, the editorial, and the fact that the 6th graders at Mom's just had a skate clinic that was amazing. I didn't have permission to share a picture, but all these things are happening in our community. And, that's the problem. They've been happening separately, and they need to happen collectively, right? And we need a collective voice. You build partnerships and, maintain momentum, right? This is short and sweet. How can you help? Recognize the need and take the lead. So, you all have skills that I don't have, and I want to help make, I'm willing to put in time and work, but I'm sure there's urban planners out there. I know there's designers out there. I know there's fundraisers out there. So let's come together as a community and make this happen. And that is it. I want to, again, we just talked about a lot of numbers, and I want to bring us back and humanize this a little bit. And one thing on the agenda, and I know he prepared something, I want to let Marco share his, what I'm calling a skateboard story, right? And hopefully every meeting we can have a different community member maybe share a skateboard story. But Marco was on the committee with me in 2014 trying to get this going for the town. He was in middle school, high school then. And Marco's at Bard College now, and skateboarding is important to him. And let me bring him up. Marco, are you ready to? I can pin you here, hopefully, or spotlight you. Are Are you guys seeing him full screen or no?
No.
You have to stop sharing.
Oh, thank you, sorry. I've gotten Zoom out of my mind. All right. Here we go, all right. And Marco, can I hear you? That's the question.
I think if you scroll over where his screen is on the bottom left, there should be an unmute. Or mute, yeah, no. Oh, bingo. There it is. Hit the more.
He's not showing as muted though.
Does he have control to unmute? No.
Marco, are you muted?
Oh yeah, we can hear him a little bit.
Just make them louder.
Volume. Might be on the computer.
Can I hear you, Marco?
You hear me? Starting to.
All right, go ahead, Marco.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
All right, sorry about this, everyone.
No worries. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great. All right, go ahead, Marco.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I just have a few, I don't want to take too much of your time. I just made a few bullet points. Like Ethan said, I was here, or I was at the meeting in 2014. So yeah, I grew up in Middlebury. My family moved here when I was 1 year old, and I started skating around the age of 6 or 7. I didn't really have a space to skateboard locally. I had to drive an hour to go to Burlington. Back then I skated Town Skatepark, which still exists, but it was in a different location back then. An indoor park before A-Dog and eventually A-Dog. I learned to ollie on South Street and eventually learned to tray flip in Weybridge on the road with a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit. One of the things that was important to me, just to mention here, was that especially around middle school and high school age, I really fell out with team sports, and I wanted to have that kind of community that I saw my friends had, but I was into skateboarding, and that didn't really work out. So it was kind of isolating. I felt like I didn't really have a space to practice my intended sport, and I sort of got the feeling that it wasn't, that there wasn't a care for skaters in the local area. One thing that seems very sort of evident to me, I would say, is that it's pretty unsafe without a skate park. I mean, a lot of times I think we associate risk with skate parks because of the fact that there is some inherent risk, but I think what's much more dangerous, and is true also statistically, is that it's pretty unsafe to be skating on the road. And having a dedicated skate park would get people out of, learning tray flips on Weybridge Street and actually in a shared community. Let's see if there's anything else worth saying. One thing I just have realized personally is that I think Middlebury, the college, has growing recognition. The town has a growing population with the new Amtrak station coming in, in a direct link to New York City. I think getting a skate park in Middlebury is going to attract more skateboarders, as Ethan has already stated. And with that kind of momentum, both economically and in terms of people, I think that skaters are going to come and be able to sort of self-discover their love for the sport. I've had to drive to Burlington and then drive home tired after sessions. It's also pretty unsafe. If I were to be raising a kid right now in Middlebury, I would definitely want there to be a skate park. I don't have too much more, fascinating insight it's addicting. I go pretty much every day. I'm gonna go after this. It's one of the best parts of my life, and it helps me with school. I have ADHD, and being able to get out on my skateboard every single day kind of clears my mind, and I can go write a paper afterwards. It's healthy, it's social, and it's inclusive. Anyone from any background, any age can come to a skate park and just appreciate something. And I think during the pandemic and just recently, there's so much disconnect that I think a lot of us feel and don't like, and the skate park has been sort of a safe haven, especially at ADOG and in general, for social life, and I think it would really benefit the young community. So I won't take any more of everyone's time, but it definitely means a lot to me.
Thank you very much, Marco. Thanks for sharing. I want to open it up to you all, and you know, any questions about the information we presented, anything that you'd like to add, or yeah, more of it. I wish we were in a circle for this part, or all of it actually. Yeah.
Ethan, is there gonna be like a setup for like monthly or weekly or meeting wise, like how will people connect or get?
Yes, right now, I'm gonna do email until we do have other things going. But I think the best thing is, you know, I'm not gonna spam you with every little thing. For the large coalition, I'll let you know about, you know, concrete, no pun intended, things, right? Concrete events that are happening, or meetings, that kind of thing. If you, after hearing this, if you're energized and want to be part of that core team who's going to drive this forward, please, you know, just explicitly say that. I want to work on this. I'm really good at fundraising. That's what I want to focus on. You know, when you get to the design phase, that's where I can come in. I still skateboard every day. I've been to every park in Vermont, every park in New England, and I know what the best elements of a skate park are, and I want to be part of the design phase. You know, I have a great relationship and understand the system, and would like to help you, you know, with, you know, the path forward. You know, working with Parks and Rec and Infrastructure Committee and Select Board, or, you know, whatever you can help us with, we want you. Yeah.
Maybe you could send a Google form out with headlines, and we can check what we're most interested in, or where we think we could contribute.
Perfect.
Instead of us reaching out to you, that might make it easier for people to just look through and check.
Yeah.
If you hadn't already planned to do that.
No, I hadn't planned next steps. That's a great suggestion, and we will take it. Yeah.
Yeah, if I would just like, can I just see a show of hands? How many of you got an email from either of us, Ethan Murphy or Kimberly Breckenridge? So if you, and I know people did put your names down here, and I will double cross the list, but definitely make sure you're on that list, because that will be our first form of communication. But I would suggest, after using that Google poll about what you're interested in, for our next meeting, come with an idea about which committee you'd like to be on. I feel, although I hate the word committee, I hate being on committees, I feel like that's the best use of our time, that for the next meeting we'll have a general, and then we'll break out into smaller groups, and not pointing any fingers, but if there's like the social media group and you brainstorm ideas, and it is helpful to have one person be like, you know what, I'd like to chair that. But so we'll start with the Google poll about all the different things, and then if you're most passionate about or have a skill, be prepared to come next time. Does that sound like a plan?
That sounds awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say, as a mom of skateboarders, a wife of skateboarders, and to see how excited Ethan has been these past couple weeks to see this come again, and like to come here and see young and old and parents and non-skateboarders, skateboarders. The turnout from the college is amazing. So I hope we can keep the enthusiasm going. because I think it's something that's really, really needed for Middlebury. I think we're kind of behind the times in Middlebury, and it has to happen this time.
Did you point at me when you said old?
I'm old too, but.
Well, thank you. Feel free to chat, and I think we do have to be out of here at 6:30. But it was so nice to meet you all. I hope you keep coming back. Again, it'll be less talk and more rock. And yeah, thank you.
Bravo to you.
Thanks, Marco. Thanks, Molly.
And East Middlebury Playground,
Thank you.
10 o'clock, ours will be there. Yeah, we'll be there next Saturday.
Yeah, no, great.